On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We are and will be number one. Again, arguably still are, but we've fallen a long ways. This is going to be a continued fight. Now, I know I've been bugging all you guys. We had to get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. Dan, I'm tired of it. Shut up. But we got you out to vote. And thank God, and we accomplished something great because of it. Now, unfortunately, because I've said before, this is not over, far from it. And I'm going to need all of us to continue the fight. This is going to be an interesting period of time. One, while we try to get the appointments, of course. But two, as we try to shift the direction of this country, try to shift the course. Because there's a lot of people that don't want us to, because they've been told over and over and over that we're all bad, that we're destroying democracy, that we're destroying everything they've ever worked on, that we're going to strip away abortion, that we're going to take away their abilities to, I don't know, dress stupid. Like, I don't know, turn their hair blue. We can't do that anymore. No more blue hair, no more pink hair. What? No. And they go screaming off like, no, we're not doing that. That's not what this is about. And you and I, we got to figure out how to bridge this gap. Yeah, not like it's a lot to ask. I know. Yeah, it sucks. But that's what we're here to do. That's why I say teacher of teachers. You guys are excelled beyond the average everyday person. When you guys are awakened as you are and then acting consciously, you're extraordinarily powerful. You're like 1,000 asleep people as far as your matrix powers, if you will. And I will say, as you kind of work on things and as you evolve through your spiritual journey, you will actually become more and more and more powerful from there. And it's not power, it's kind of an odd and bad way to look at it. It's just you light up a room when you walk in. Not everybody can do that. Some people walk in a room, you never even know it. Some people walk in a room and you'll turn and look. Don't know why, but you just did. Trump is one of those people too, for sure. We're in a critical time, and again, a lot going on. I'm not trying to be dour in any way. I guess I'm trying to remind us all that we need to bust our buns and continue pushing forward. Because we will, in fact, get there. Got a lot to talk about. Got some fun stuff. Got some not so fun stuff. We'll cover it all. This is, so John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 22nd. So on Friday, that was the anniversary. I totally forgot on Friday, and then I saw on Saturday after I had I saw on Saturday that it was Friday. So I was like, I already missed it. That's fantastic. So still missing it, nonetheless. Someone put together a cool little thing. And I thought it was worth playing just to at least give homage to someone that was, well, some would say that's when World War III officially started. And that is quite possibly true. I think Reagan tried to move the ball forward, and I think it became Trump's move next. We've been very careful how this movement's been going, and this isn't Republican, isn't Democrat. Kennedy was obviously a Democrat. And most of the people I love in my family are Democrats. I just don't think they're having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that their party left them. It's not the other way around. So you're not so much leaving the party as much as just acknowledging that it left you, or try to take back control of the party. I mean, I offer it up. Take what you want. Do what you got to do. And we essentially took control of the Republican Party because it was shams. It was trash. It was rhino. We made it MAGA. It's fantastic. Needless to say, Kennedy started this whole thing that we are finishing. It's been a long time coming.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
We will not prematurely or unnecessarily risk the course of worldwide nuclear war, in which even the fruits of victory would be ashes in our mouth.
He had this correspondence with Khrushchev. They were secretly corresponding with each other. And that is what saved the world.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion.
The second we as a country have finally accepted what the CIA has done to our own country and to our own people, and what this branch, and unfortunately, it's a branch that's been weaponized against us. I don't know if it through and through sucks. Unfortunately, it seems like it's kind of the case, but whatever. We'll figure that out. They're going to put people that have better thoughts at it than maybe a lot of us do. But we will figure it out. I think shut it down, too. I think most of you, I just heard you screaming. It's like, yeah, I feel you. I feel you 100%. But I think the second we can accept that, well, then we're ready to finally understand who killed Kennedy. And then it's going to be like, wow, it's been that long? Yeah, it has. I think so many people have a hard time when they wake up. There's sort of this guilt. You're like, you feel bad. You're like, why didn't I figure this out earlier? Man, what am I, an idiot? It's been like this for so long. This is just an interesting time in history. It's sort of been prophesized, if you will, but it's the awakening, the mass awakening, the great awakening. It's happening now. In a large case, even something similar to like the Highlander, the original movie, The Gathering is actually occurring too, because a lot of people have come here for this time and space to help. So this is where a lot of you guys fall into. That's the cool part, I guess. I think, anyways. Hey, bastard. Let's see. RFK Jr. versus WAPO marks the first round in Trump's vows for a showdown with legacy media censorship. So this is... Why did I pull this? If we don't have free speech, then we don't have a country. Trump has been saying that. He said when he's president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. Trusted News Initiative. See, multiple outlets have published profiles of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the past 18 months. Though only the Washington Post in June warranted a 20-page response from Kennedy that includes 78 footnotes. The letter reviewed by Just the News includes the expected complaints. The writer referred to Kennedy's claims as conspiracy theories or as having been debunked, though he says they hadn't been. Too many journalists do not speak truth to power. This is an interesting piece to this. Journalists do not speak truth to power. Kennedy wrote, and what that means to help is when you speak something, anything, over and over, you give it power. And as a content creator or as a media person, you understand that you have an audience. You understand that you've actually got a multiplier effect at work. You've got power. And if you use that power to help influence in a positive way, well, you shape the world in a positive way. But if you use that to lie or or point people in the wrong direction, create fictions, and then force people to start believing that, well, you start to do harm. So Kennedy, too many journalists do not speak truth to power, but instead serve as propagandists, pouring concrete on official orthodoxies and attacking dissent. And that's what they do. So there is some weird legal stuff going on with all these guys. And Kennedy's going after him hard. I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but this idea of speaking truth into power is very important. Many say you should, in spiritual circles anyways, you should speak your truth. You should try to be honest and not attacking. That's one thing that's really important. You should never try to hurt somebody. Like if that's your intention it's pushing buttons is one thing because that's kind of fun, but trying it, like literally being mean or putting someone down or that kind of stuff, that's actually not cool, right? Like that's a negative sort of thing. But when you actually speak the truth about what's going on, and you speak it sort of without emotion, if you will, but just more from that factual basis, you'll be amazed how much the universe will support that. It just works out that way. It's kind of funny. It's one of the little magic things that happen when we start playing with God, basically. FBI finds buckets of full heads, arms, and legs that have been sewn together. This is not in a foreign country, mind you.
FBI raided the Phoenix facility in hazmat suits as part of a multi-state investigation into the illegal trafficking and sale of human body parts. But for the first time, we're now able to see the testimony from one of the FBI agents who conducted the raid, and what he recounts is shocking. He said he found a cooler filled with male genitalia, a bucket of heads, arms, and legs, infected heads, and one of the most disturbing findings, called a morbid joke in the lawsuit, a small woman's head sewn onto a large male torso like Frankenstein and hung up on the wall, with no identification tags on the bodies.
Tools that are not appropriate for dismembering scientific bodies.
Harp says his mother's ashes showed up by mail on his doorstep shortly after the raid, but he isn't even sure they're her ashes. He says his mom and grandma wanted to help medical research after their death, yet doesn't believe they ever made it out of the BRC.
I was working down in Florida one time, and one of the account executives down there was talking about, bag of dicks, like something with, I forget how she used it exactly. But it was just funny, so they had a box of dicks, apparently. That's kind of effed up. But yeah, people's body parts not getting back, people's ashes not making it back. This was Phoenix, which strange is where Runbeck is and where Maricopa County is and all those funny things. I don't know. It's just weird how these things work out sometimes, where some of the most nefarious stuff is happening where they're taking control or have taken control. Think about the Clintons in Arkansas and all the crazy shit they were doing there. Hopefully, if you guys are somewhat aware, think about it. That's how it works. That's how it works. And then that's how they kind of bring you in on it, and you're going to be rich if you just go along with it. Otherwise, they'll destroy you, kill you, or, well, we'll see what other options are available. Now, this is a funny little post that Elon Musk shared. Rabbit Hole posted, sanctuary regions in the United States. States or counties with laws, regulations, or policies shielding criminals from ICE. So these are all sanctuary, all the yellows, right? Non-sanctuary, and there's some mixtures, of course, within some states that are not sanctuary states, but cities within the states that somehow feel like they're able to do that. Now, Elon Musk says, now overlay that with regions where no voter ID is required. It's where we're at. This is hilarious. This is the 7th legal notice that Sonny has had to read. This is ABC, I think, is where The View is. But ABC and MSNBC are in worlds of hurt. 7th time.
Both Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo that his past donation played any role in her office's decision to not take legal action against Trump University when she was, of course, the Attorney General of Florida.
Funny how she has to keep doing legal stuff. It's strange. Elon says it's likely he buys tanking MSNBC. This is being strung a lot. So National Pulse has taken some liberties here, in my personal opinion, but that's just, you guys know me, I'm just anal when it comes to a lot of this stuff. But he said the most entertaining outcome, especially if ironic, is most likely. Kind of a funny adage. That's what his buddy used to say. So there's some history on that. It's not exactly like he's definitely saying it about MSNBC, but he is kind of chuckling because this has been a joke running in his life with him and a best friend. I feel like that guy passed away or something weird. Whatever. The dude, they have their kind of little special joke, and it's kind of funny. So he's like, the irony of it is precious. You just can't lose out on that, right? Now, this meme is Elon Musk shared as well. It's dirty, some would say. Hopefully most of the people in my audience are like, that's what I did when I saw it. And lead us not into temptation. And this lady's got MSNBC covering her vital parts, I guess one could say, and Elon Musk trying not to buy, right? Like, it would be too much fun to actually be able to buy the company. Now, I kind of wonder why you would buy them. A lot of people are like, oh, it's mainstream media. It's like, well, it was a spinoff from NBC, first off. So NBC is actually the flagship. NBC is actually the Mamba Jamba. And then MSNBC was a spinoff that was just making butt tons of money. And then now they're like, later, done, snip, and just cut the cord and let it go. And they're like, hope you guys don't crash. Kind of hope you do, whatever. And so why buy that? And then, like I said, the contract, we were talking about this on Friday, the contract, Rachel Maddow, was $25 million. $25 million contract. Well, if Elon Musk bought MSNBC, he'd have to keep paying that contract. If MSNBC just collapses, guess the contract's done, right? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's worth. I feel like Twitter's worth more than MSNBC right now. And so I think there's a lot of people that still give, I don't know, maybe this is maybe confirmation bias on my side because I'm a content creator and what I've been through to get to where I'm at. And just, so we're the media now, I kind of believe still. Maybe some of it's that confirmation bias. But it just, like, I think there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, but it's mainstream media. It's like, yeah, they're dead. We killed them. That's awesome. Let's rejoice. Let's not try to keep mainstream media going. And that's the thing. I kind of wonder. I think it's a lot of people that that the world's changing. So things that are older are shedding and things that are newer are being created. And so I don't know. I mean, broadcasting over the airwaves is kind of crazy, like when we got internet, right? And we got Starlink, it's everywhere. So why are we doing radio towers shooting out a 100 megawatt signal to your radio in your car? You don't need that. That's stupid. It's old technology. Says a guy that's kind of in that business. Somebody that's very aware of the fact that that business is trying to metamorphosize, trying to enhance itself. Definitely. So here's Rachel Maddow, I don't know, having a problem with the fact that Musk might actually want to buy MSNBC. Like, I don't know if this is just her hoping that somebody continues to pay her paycheck, so she's just playing it up, because she's a very talented and very good actress. So I don't hold any of that against or for or whatever. I expect that with her. All said. Here's her Emmy-nominated award winning, whatever the hell. Check it out.
Hold on. To at least 3. Can we put up the graphic of this? I think I'm going to have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry. That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. No. Oh.
I'm just going to just throw this out there. First off, don't see tears. Second off, I know you're wearing makeup, and I know you guys have waterproof makeup, of course. Don't see any tears. Your eyes maybe sort of almost looked a little wet there at the end. Maybe. But, that's good acting. I was going to actually do my version of it, but we don't need that.
Hold on.
Shut the hell up. Get out of here. Get out of here, Donald McRonald. All right, what do we got? General Mike Flynn posted this. It's actually pretty awesome. I don't think I took his story. No, I didn't. Good. He had actually written a really good comm threat assessment. I think this summation is adequate, at least. I'll talk on anything that maybe needs to be. But the truth is, the deep state cannot afford to allow President Trump to implement his plan to reform America. 100% right. They can't let us do this. Can't. So many people are like, we won. That's it. We got this. Woo, cool. Let's buy MSNBC. We're so not there yet. Not even close. Like, let's get literally to the point where Trump's sworn in, and then y'all can put your guard down a little bit. I still think we have a lot of work ahead of us, but yeah, no, it's just as hard a fight as far as I'm concerned leading up to the election as going into January 20th, really. Hoping he'd keep him alive. I mean, that's the scenarios that he talks about, Flynn. Assassination, certainly, obviously. Those guys are totally at risk of assassination, mainly Trump, because he's the one that really represents the person that has the ability, has the know-how, has the art of making the deal, abilities, chops. I don't think anyone else on this planet could do what he can do for this country. I don't think there's anybody. Nobody. Trump is just perfectly suited for this moment in time. So, yeah, that's a huge concern. Conventional resistance, yeah, they're totally going to do that. And that's just, everything from them trying to stop or slow down the appointments, or trying to stop or slow down anything when it comes to making bills or laws that might potentially change things that they're worried about. Violent resistance, of course, they'll do. We know that. We know there's different ways that they're trying to work that as well. Provoking war, certainly seeing that happen on the way out the door. For some reason, to me, that just seems huge. Huge. Literally, the lame duck president made decisions to escalate that, definitely, knowingly. We talked about it. We've been talking about it. All the experts have been saying and been lauding they would make the war worse. What does he do on the way out the door? The thing that will make the war worse. We are not in control yet. And even once Trump's in office, how long till he's actually in control of the executive branch fully, which is the FBI, Department of Justice, all that stuff? There's huge amounts of stuff there. And then when you get into the militarized or the intelligence side of it, the military, yeah, I mean, how long till we get those generals out and we actually get structure put back in? We actually, so provoking war, this is a really catchy time. And then, of course, false flag war. There's a very strong chance if they have any bad weapons at all, they can and will use them in a city. And this will be a place where I know we're going to end up having to stop it because Putin knows this, Trump knows this, Orban knows this, a number of these guys, Milei, they know this. They know this is what the deep state's going to do. They know they might have to take one without full nuclear retaliation because, again, they're going to blame Russia. It won't be Russia that attacked us. It will be the deep state. From whoever, from however, from wherever. It will be them. This is why I think the little bit of fighting that's going on with Israel right now is happening, because they're hopefully taking out some of the deep state components. Don't know what's up with China, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, we've got a whole lot of crazy going on in Ukraine, and we're continuing to funnel money, and we're finding out all sorts of bad stuff about that, by the way. Now, Janet Yellen's departing from office as she leaves a trail of mess behind. She's literally done extraordinary amounts of damage to our economy. If they would have won one more term, she would have absolutely destroyed our economy. Now, I'm not sure how this plays out over the period of time. We've talked a lot about protecting. We'll probably come back up here too in a moment. Biden makes final push for student loan forgiveness before Trump takes office. Still again. So it's not even about... One of the things I think that is student loans, because it's just something from looking at who was suing and why and all this. It seems that student loan debt generally benefits the state or at the state level, because that's where the money comes, or some taxation comes from it or something. They get some benefit from it because there was a lot of the states that were suing Biden and to stop him. If it was something that the federal government was making money off of, you would think they would keep it. But they don't, right? They keep trying to get rid of it, even after they've lost the election. So it's, again, not about trying to win the election. It's about trying to hurt states, trying to hurt good people, trying to hurt any white hats, trying to hurt and cause maximum damage on the way out the door. It is November 24th right now. We literally have just shy of 2 months before Trump's in office. Ukrainians have stolen up to half of U.S. aid, ex-Polish deputy minister says. Says Ukraine did not receive as much foreign aid as claimed by the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden, and a lot of whatever help it did get was embezzled, a former Polish deputy minister has claimed. Now, again, who knows if this is true? Probably is, but that's just, again, we believe this is what's happening, and it probably is happening. I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest, but again, trying to be fair. Up to half of the funds that reached Kyiv was stolen by Ukrainian officials. This individual said Piotr Kulpa. This is an alleged. The political commentator previously held several posts in the Polish government, serving as deputy labor minister in the mid-2000s, and is currently a regular contributor on Ukrainian online shows. Now, here's the thing. Just keep this in mind, because this is kind of how it's going to play out once we get through the big, hard part. They'll work with Russia. Russia and the United States will probably, one, say we're going to have a ceasefire immediately. Two, you will have a free, fair election, and they're going to elect a leader. And then we're going to decide about what's going on. Because right now the leader that you guys have keeps wanting to shell people that you want back, and they don't want to be part of it. So let's get elections back. Let's get a leader back in office. And then let the investigations proceed. Because Russia and the United States will only back this if the leader that they're putting in is someone that's pro both states and pro getting the truth out. Pro-world, if you will. Make the world great again, right? So that is what's going to happen. Deep State's freaking out because they are losing badly. And again, all they can do is try to light fires on the way out the door. U.S. national debt hits a new record. This is funny how they always say this. Our national debt's never been anywhere near where it is right now. Our national debt is extraordinary. It's broken every record. So, every freaking day we break a record. It has never been as high as it is, and it's only going up. So now it's at $36 trillion. $36 trillion, the national debt. This is inflation in such a bad way. Huge bad way, because ultimately we got to print money to pay that off or something. We'll see. Steve Bannon posted this. Is very interesting. December 20th, 2024. Continued resolution expires. Government runs out of money. The 20th of December. So we've got some things up our sleeve. The House still has the majority, and the House won the election, and the House could do what needs to be done. Reagan had to do the same thing when he took office at first, and it caused huge problems, and it actually cost him the midterm, if I remember correctly. But he did the right thing for the country, and it saved us to a huge extent. It's going to be an interesting thing. I don't know how this will play out. Will they kick the can down the road? Maybe. But that's going to be the deep state, I think, winning. I don't think they have to anymore. I don't think they have to. They won the election. We can actually play ball now, because now I think we've got the support from we, the media, to win this war. Or battle, at least. So January 2nd, 2025, debt ceiling expires. Government runs out of ability to borrow. We could literally possibly bankrupt the government going in. This is where we're at. This is where the deep state's at. We literally are at a point where we might be cutting off their money. Might be. I pray. I'll believe it when I see it. I am not going to believe. I mean, we won the election. I wasn't ready for that. So again, you guys know me, right? I'm going to come at it just ready for anything. Hoping for a lot. 15th of April, 2025, Trump tax cuts expire. Welcome to the Thunderdome, is what Steve says, which is funny as hell. Folks, I'm just saying, I don't think there's a lot going on in the world, and this is one of the many reasons why I believe precious metals are a smart move. I believe stocks right now, and I believe our dollar is getting trashed. I also believe the Federal Reserve needs to get out somehow. I don't know if that gets worked in or what, right? That's not really something that's being talked about. But what's going on with our dollar? What's going on with the way they're printing money? It's destroying it as a store of value. And it's just gotten horrible over the last 4 years. And certainly it's gotten really bad over the last 100 years. I mean, our buying power of our dollar is down to like 3 cents or something crazy. It's really bad. Whenever there's spikes or whenever there's crazy things in the economy, the prices of gold and silver have spiked. Silver typically. Gold's just kind of a steady go. But silver spikes hard and then comes back down and then spikes again every time. Like the issue we had with the loans, the .com bust, like all these different little things we've had. There was another one in there I can't remember. But there's this spike and it comes down. Well, what we're seeing now is we're seeing the gold prices going basically ballistic. And we're seeing the price of silver spiking hard. This is an interesting indicator that we're about to go bump. Goldco is one of the greatest companies to help move out of their system, tax-free, penalty-free, into a precious metals IRA. It's just a beautiful storage of wealth right now. It is doing very well currently. People that got in less than a year ago or a little more than a year ago are stoked. People that got in a couple years ago are very stoked. Like, it's just continued to move up. This is the place to put your bobber, your floater, right, when you're catching fish. It's going to hold your wealth at least level with buying power, what it's valued at right now. What you can buy with it right now, you get it in precious metals, and then that's essentially the buying power that you're going to hold on to and probably gain some value on based off of how the numbers have played. It's just a smart move when things are getting crazy. We have no magic 8-ball. I don't know when crazy happens. If crazy happens, don't know. But I know the decisions I've made as a person, and this is one of the reasons why I've partnered with these guys. First off, they don't believe any of the crazy shit I say. They do what they do, and they do it very, very well. And they'll answer any of your questions. Don't be coming in with all the crazy end of the world's coming, Dan says, right? No, that's not good, right? That's just my beliefs. Goldco's got a legal responsibility. They're just there to help you transfer out tax-free, penalty-free into physical metal, put into a trust, and you can draw from it. You can continue to pay into it. It's a wonderful system to protect wealth right now, to hold on to wealth and hang on to wealth. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And right now, up to 10% of the dollar value of your 401k or IRA, up to 10% of that, free silver they're giving. Seriously, go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. At least find out about it so you're prepared if you need to make a decision. But, there's some weird stuff going on in the world. So, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. All right. This was Canadian officials. Oh, yeah, this is interesting. So, apparently, Canadian officials were leaking stuff that China was telling them. Pissed off China. So China got pissed off at Justin Trudeau and basically said, dude, that's not cool that you're doing this, that you're leaking this stuff. And then ultimately Trudeau's like, well, sometimes we're just not going to agree on things, and so we're going to do whatever. And it's just funny because, no offense, Trudeau, but and Canadians, you are definitely Americans. There's no unquestionable about it. But there's only 35, 40 million of you, right? There ain't that many of you guys. Not that many at all. You shouldn't be messing with a superpower like that, just being all dicky with them. First off, you shouldn't be leaking shit. China's like, we don't like this. Putin's getting jacked. China's getting jacked. Trump's getting jacked. Just look at the people that are getting jacked and then look at the people that aren't. We've got such a mess going on. I would have played it, but man. All right, pre-Trump stuff we got going on here. Before the Trump. Oh, this is just funny. This is just funny, actually. I'll just let it handle itself. This is pissing off the left so much.
My favorite thing about the election is a lot of liberals were driving Teslas. And now they're fucking trapped. Dark MAGA Elon came out. Gotcha! The T on the back is for Trump. You funded the last 6 months of the campaign. And they can't get rid of them because Republicans are now like gasoline. I can just see people now with a Sharpie at night going up to it. R-U-M-P. You're not going to be able to look at a Tesla without thinking about that ever.
I would say that was true for me today. It was definitely, I saw a few Teslas and I just saw the T and I'm like, that's funny. That's very funny. So yeah, before Trump. Unacceptable that the department accommodates this behavior. What we've come to find out is the House Foreign Affairs member calls for State Department briefing over post-election therapy sessions, or the rapey, which is funny, but therapy sessions. therapy sessions happening because people within the Department of Justice, whatever, DOJ or whatever, House Foreign Affairs Committee, they're calling for a briefing. Harris State Department are the ones. They have in-house therapy for people that just can't cope with the fact that Trump won. This just blows me away that people are incapable of handling anything of any sort of level of frustration. It's very strange. My girlfriend's daughter's kind of like that. She's like, I don't know. She's a brilliant girl, but something doesn't quite go right, and she self just starts crying and shit. It's just like, okay, gotcha. But again, it's weird how some people just can deal with it and some can't. And emotion, I think, is the thing that most of the programming's done with, is through emotion. Typically, at least what I see. I've never seen an intellectual, like solid one. I mean, there's some stuff, like I guess Flat Earth kind of is, but I'm not trying to get off there because a lot of people, it's a very contentious subject. And I don't know for sure, you don't know for sure, like none of us know for sure. Blinken heads to last G7 meeting of Biden presidency, Ukraine, Mideast top agenda. They're trying to work out something. This is all deep state stuff. What they say is not what's actually happening. I couldn't even speculate. Probably like, how are you guys going to keep Trump from, what's going to happen? They're going to come after us, man. What are we going to do? Like half of these guys, like Canada, Justin Trudeau, I don't think he did. Was it him or France? I don't know. One or two of those guys didn't win their elections, I thought. So yeah, we got some stuff going on. And then United Kingdom, we got a story about them coming up. They're all sorts of crazy right now. All sorts of crazy going on. They're looks like going to have another vote coming up. We're going to try to see if we can help make some ripples on that one. So yeah, last trip. Trump allies take the first step to wipe out a multi-billion-dollar government agency. Now this is Republican lawmakers took a first step in an effort to shutter the Department of Education. South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds introduced the Returning Education to Our States Act on Thursday. This bill is actually going to eliminate the Education Department and redistribute all federal programs under the department. The Federal Department of Education has never educated a single student, and it's long past time to end this bureaucratic department that causes more harm than good. So they're making moves, and they're going to continue. I said, we want federal education dollars to follow the student rather than propping up the bloated and radical bureaucracy in Washington, D.C., as well as the bureaucracy within state school systems. Our school systems are very bureaucratic as well. And being able to have the student and the money follow the student means that you'd have all these teachers and administrators that now have to play ball. Otherwise, students will leave those shit schools and they will lose funding. And it will be their fault. Interesting times is all I can say. Jordan signals ongoing probes into Garland and Mayorkas on the border. So, of course, he's going to continue looking into it. Chair Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee. We'll see where that gets us. It sounds like they're not giving up, and I like that. Denver mayor, this is fun. Denver mayor threatens to deploy cops, 50,000 residents in Tiananmen Square moment to stop Trump's mass deportations. Literally, Denver mayor is saying he'll do this. What's funny is that's not legal. Oh, I thought I had the story. The thing with the dude. I'm not going to be able to find it easy. Bummer. Yeah, the guy, the dude that's taken over. He straight up said, and I think I played it Friday too, it's like, that is against the law. If anyone decides that they don't read the letter of the law, that one spot, he calls it out. That is illegal to harbor criminals. Period. Try to stop it, see what happens. This will literally be where mayors and stuff will be arrested. They tried to arrest Trump. Think about that. So now people actually breaking government law will be arrested. And maybe they'll be like, haha, this is going to make it better. But it's not, actually, because your state's going to be, or your city for sure, is going to be better off once you have not all those people to feed. Now you actually have money that you can spend within your own city to do good things, not actually just ask for more taxpayer money, which is also what they wanted. It's a great time to be alive. Crazy stuff going on, but a great time to be alive. Oh, missed appointments. Yeah, we got a bunch here. So Matt Gaetz responded to Cat Turd. Cat Turd said, can't wait for President Trump to appoint Matt Gaetz as special counsel to go after the deep state traitors. Checkmate. And of course, Congressman Matt Gaetz, former congressman anyways, said the Biden administration has filled hundreds of pages of briefs in federal court claiming that special counsels do not require Senate confirmation, in case anyone was wondering. That would be an interesting checkmate, wouldn't it? Since they've gone to such great lengths, and we keep just trapping them into corners and stuff, it's pretty fun. And by fighting the fights that we do and then forcing them to acquiesce and say, no, it's perfectly legal, or in the case of like vice presidents being able to push back the electors, like we've just trapped them in all sorts of places. This is just another great example. So they're not going to be able to say anything about it when they appoint Matt Gaetz as a special counsel and he starts rooting through and calling in people. And if they don't show up, they end up in jail. Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting, isn't it? I wonder if they do grand juries. That'll be fun. Just can you imagine a whole grand jury full of MAGA people? Just be like, yeah, let's talk about what they've done. Absolutely, they're guilty. Right? Done. That's the same kind of crazy stuff they did to us. All right, Trump appointed a whole bunch of people, probably names I'm going to jack up. Scott Bessent, he's going to serve as the 79th Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. So that's pretty awesome. We've got Russell Thurlow Vaught, I'm hoping, from the great state of Virginia as the Director of the United States Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, as it is affectionately called. Also got Lori Chavez DeRemer. She's from Oregon, apparently, and she is going to be the United States Secretary of Labor. She's obviously got a lot of experience that ties into all this stuff. I'm just kind of taking Trump, what he's doing and what he's pushing, because I'm not going to argue with him at this point in time. That's for sure. And some of these people, maybe even the more crazy ones, might be the ones that are like Matt Gaetz. Like, I don't know. I just don't. Any head fakes that are in there are like cool, and then we still got to see if these people are going to get approved, or appointed or approved through the Senate. Alex Wong, he's going to be appointed assistant to the president and principal deputy national security advisor, and Dr. Sebastian Gorka as deputy assistant to the president and senior director for counterterrorism. Kind of cool. Dr. Jeanette Neshawat, I don't know, will be the nation's doctor as the United States Surgeon General. So that's pretty awesome. We've got Congressman Dr. Dave Weldon is going to be nominated as the new director of the CDC, which should be pretty interesting as well. Marty McCreary, he's a MD, MPH, FACS, and FDA commissioner. FDA has lost the trust of Americans and has lost sight of its primary goal as regulator. The agency needs Dr. Marty McCreary, a highly respected Johns Hopkins surgical oncologist. So it's just, again, we're getting people in places, and then we've got, again, like Doge, and then we've also got RF Kennedy, who's going to be just an animal. It's going to be rad. Can't wait. President Trump just nominated McCreary. So here's some stuff about him. Hopefully I can learn how to say his name properly.
Look, we are right now witnessing the largest uncontrolled experiment in modern health history. And that is, we have introduced tons of chemicals, pesticides, microplastics, ultra-processed foods, seed oils into the modern diet, altering the microbiome. And no one talks about it. They're too busy demonizing saturated fat and trying to defend the old food pyramid. They just replaced it with the food compass. It's almost worse to some degree. It says that Lucky Charms is healthier than a steak. I mean, right. We've had very bad leaders in healthcare, and by and large, the rank and file doctors in American medicine are good people, but they've been the subject of this sort of bold groupthink from our leaders, a small group of people at the top. And we've done a terrible thing to doctors, in my opinion, Ken. I'm interested in your opinion here, but I think we've done a terrible thing to doctors. We told them, put your head down, focus on billing and coding, seeing patients in short visits. Here, memorize a bunch of medications in medical school, regurgitate it to us back on exams, go out there, go forth, and we're going to measure you by your throughput.
Yep.
And we haven't given doctors the time or resources to talk about the root causes of all these chronic diseases. Why is it a pediatrician would rarely see a case of type 2 diabetes in their entire career? And now 1 in 5 kids has diabetes or pre-diabetes.
And I mean, and I think this speaks volumes to where we're at with our medicine, right? Like a lot of us are assuming, the doctors, they don't ever care. They don't ever they just want the money. It's not. That's how they're trained. That's what they're taught in school. That's literally what they are. They're meant to be doing what they're doing. They're not supposed to treat you and make you healthy. They want you sick, essentially. I mean, the doctors don't. I don't think doctors intentionally feel that way. But, they know where their bread is buttered from. Yeah. Scott Turner from Tejas. He's going to be the Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. So cool. We got, Brooke L. Rollins from the great state of Texas also. She's going to serve as the 33rd United States Secretary of Agriculture. Kind of interesting, 33rd. That's the 33rd. It's a strange number, certainly. Who knows? I mean, it's this next one, so it's obviously not like something Trump did special. It's just how it worked out. Whatever. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte met U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in Palm Beach, Florida on Friday. Spokesperson for the Transatlantic Military Alliance said on Saturday they discussed the range of global security issues facing the alliance. On its website, NATO said Rutte and his team also met with Congressman Mike Waltz, Trump's pick to be his national security advisor when he returns to the White House, and other members of the president-elect's national security team. On Friday, NATO did not respond to requests for comment on Dutch media reports that Rutte, a former prime minister of the Netherlands, had flown to Florida on a Dutch government plane to meet Trump. That'd be kind of funny if that were true. I also thought it was interesting that someone that used to work in the Dutch government's actually going to be holding a reasonably prestigious role, but it's of NATO, right? Is it, I thought I had Rutte somewhere over here. Anyway. Yeah, whatever the case is. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Oh, yeah, Lisa Murkowski, it's just disgusting, but this is what's going on. She's never going to win an election again, by the way, ever, because they're not going to be able to cheat in her state, and she's totally going to get primaried. Hardcore. Senator Lisa Murkowski announces that she will not approve any of Trump's nominees unless they are properly vetted by the FBI. Well, that's going to be interesting. Unless some of them are already vetted, and the people that are going to be in charge of the FBI are, vetted, then maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they got to re-vet them, but we obviously can't trust what the current FBI is going to say. This is what they're trying to force. They're trying to force us through their Play-Doh fun factory of life, and we're like, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm not sure how this plays out, but we're obviously not going to play that game, and there's a strong chance. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just throwing in the factor that literally budgets run out and money runs out coming up here just in a month, and then 2 months from now, basically. So what are they going to do? We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Because, you see, if we had a budget collapse, wouldn't Trump then be assuming office under some sort of weird situation, in which case he'd be able to do the appointments himself through an emergency process? Huh. Wow. So it's like maybe it doesn't matter what you say, Murkowski, so long as we let everybody know this is what you said, because you're never going to get elected again. Ever. You are... I don't know. You guys, I put in the comments, do you think she's worse than Liz Cheney or equally as bad? Like, who's worse, Liz Cheney or her? I don't know. Is that a tough one, right? Like, tough one. I kind of almost feel like she's worse. I don't know. Liz Cheney sucked, but she was born into the Cheneys. I don't know anything about her, so I'm just going to assume she's worse. Kash Patel saying some pretty cool stuff in regards to fixing the FBI. And I think he's one of the appointments they're holding off on saying, and it could still be the FBI. I don't want to speculate, and because so far, most of the speculation I've seen has been very wrong. Most of it, has been wrong. So I don't know what he's going to... I hope he's involved. That's all I'm at with it at this point. I love Kash, and I think he's played such a huge role over the past 4 years that he deserves something, I hope, but we'll see.
I mean, unfortunately, the public has also lost trust in a number of these agencies. Kash, how do you believe Americans will regain trust in our most important law enforcement agencies?
One thing. Exposure of corruption. Put out the documents, put out the evidence. We only have gotten halfway down the Russiagate hole. The people need to know that their FBI is restored by knowing full well what they did to unlawfully surveil them. The people need to know that there has been a de-weaponization, a defanging of the Department of Justice, and their houses of worship will no longer be raided. But they need to be shown the documents that said this was the reasoning they weaponized justice. And that, in my opinion, is how Congress can most importantly secure the trust or resecure the trust of these agencies and departments. President Trump is taking a huge first step with his monumental victory. Now it's up to Congress and the Senate to work with his leaders at DOJ and FBI to put out those documents. And I think DOJ goes a long way in that. But we're going to need cabinet secretaries who say, we don't fear the corruption that preceded us. It will make us powerful if we expose it to the American public.
Yeah, I just 100% agree. Love that guy. Love him. Good stuff. Okay, what do we got here? Elon Musk and Ramaswamy. They signal intention to defund Planned Parenthood, which is pretty cool. The Trump has said the new department will provide guidance from outside government to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulation, cut wasteful expenditure, and restructure federal agencies. This team will work in the new administration closely with the White House Office of Management and Budget. The two of us will advise DOJ at every step to pursue three major kinds of reform: regulatory rescission, administrative reductions, and cost savings. DOJ will help the federal government's overspending by taking aim at the $500 billion plus in annual federal expenditures that are unauthorized by Congress or being used in ways that Congress never intended. From $535 million a year to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and $1.5 billion for grants to international organizations to nearly $300 million to progressive groups like Planned Parenthood. Cutting all that stuff. Sounds like a brilliant idea, doesn't it? Yes. Look forward to it. TikTok is reaching out for insight about the U.S. from Elon, who is both owner of a rival social media platform and one of President-elect Trump's closest confidants. I find this to be an interesting thing. So Shao Chu, chief executive of the popular video app, initiated messages with the billionaire in recent weeks, according to people familiar with the matter. So again, can't trust it, but whatever. Chu and the executives at TikTok's parent company, Chinese tech giant ByteDance, view Musk as a potentially helpful conduit to the incoming administration at a time when TikTok faces the prospect of a looming ban in the U.S. over national security concerns. What's interesting is there's no way Trump doesn't hear about every bit of that. And two, Musk is super savvy, and I don't think China can threaten or anything. Like SpaceX is doing awesome. I mean, we're not going to take your cars in China. He'd probably be like, all right, don't. It is what it is. You're not going to control us. You're not going to have control in this situation. Period. China. This administration will be in charge of this country. And if you want to play ball with us, play ball with us. If not, we're probably going to have tariffs on your shit like there's no tomorrow. So things are going to get hot. U.S. Senator Ron Johnson has threatened to issue a subpoena when he becomes chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations if three federal health agencies continue to withhold data on the adverse health effects wrought by the COVID-19 vaccine. Wrote a letter addressed to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Food and Drug Administration, and the Department of Health and Human Services. Johnson demanded that the agencies preserve all records referring to the development, safety, and side effects of COVID-19 vaccines, and to produce all the records without redactions by December 3rd. Quote, while your agencies have largely ignored or failed to fully cooperate with my oversight efforts, I can assure you that your obstruction will soon come to an end. Your agency's refusal to provide complete and unredacted responses and documents to my numerous oversight letters on the development and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines has hindered congressional oversight and has jeopardized the public's health. It ain't coming until the new people come into play, but it's just going to be weird how all this stuff's going to be coming out, and it's going to be like obvious to, well, us, and then I think others. It'll start awakening even more people that the federal government has, yes, indeed, been not only lying to us, but profiting from their lies to us. I actually talked to a dude at the gym that's retired from one of the major companies, and he was like, I'm ashamed to admit it almost. And so we talked a lot. I realized, one, just talking to somebody that actually works in the industry, it's like everything. Like we self included, assume a lot about industries we've never worked in, and we just assume things because it just makes sense in our heads, right? Like, but sometimes when you're actually in the industry, it's very, very different. So yeah, the way things kind of played out is very similar to what we believe. There's some things that I think, again, pharmaceutical companies just, it's changing what it was. The fact that it was the mRNA, that'd been in the works for a long time. So it was like they finally had a reason to do it. I talked about some of the vaccines that are actually surprisingly good versus some that won't. There's like a pneumonia one that he highly recommended, but he's like with a lot of us, like he's like, they suck. No, and they're not really vaccines and they don't really help protect you. And so the pneumonia one, though, I would never get it, but it's something 20. I don't know, whatever, but it's the new one. That used to be 13. It was like the 13 pneumonia viruses. Now it's the 20, and it sounds like they actually give you the virus. So those I always thought were kind of okay, like that's how you get over something is you get the sickness inside yourself, and then, antibodies, right? And hopefully your T cells remember it. Supreme Court announced Friday it will hear a case that would deliver another blow to the federal agency's powers. The justices agreed to take up the government's appeal of a decision invalidating the Universal Service Fund, USF. It's a federally subsidy aimed at providing affordable telecommunications services to rural and low-income consumers. It spends about $9 billion annually. A lower panel found the funding mechanism violates the non-delegation doctrine, which bars Congress from delegating its lawmaking powers to the executive branch. So many things they've done this kind of shenanigan stuff with. Our Supreme Court's going to be very busy, and if we get rid of a few of them, think about how awesome and efficient this is going to go. Taking up the dispute enables the Supreme Court to address the scope of the constitutional doctrine after sidestepping it in recent cases. The court signaled it could do so again, however, as it asked the parties to also argue whether the case is moot. So we'll see. But yeah, the idea, and this is one of the things that hopefully Musk and them can put an end to, is this funding of stuff illegally. I want to remind you guys, of course, of OTF. I got a fun little story. You guys know OTF. Go to mypillow.com/OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. Over $75, you get free shipping. I'm actually today going to order over $75 worth of stuff, and I use my own coupon code, by the way. I use my own coupon code. I order it just like you. But I'm going to tell you this quick little story. So you guys know how friggin' retarded I am with the original pillow, right? Like, retarded about it. So for a while now, I've been tripping on why am I not sleeping on my back? I've been a back sleeper my entire life, and I have become a side sleeper. Like I start on my back, and then at some point I end up rolling over on my side. I'm like, why do I keep wanting to roll over on my side? And I finally got a little pissed this morning. And so my old pillow, which is just the normal queen size, but it's the one I had from when I lived in my condo, and I grabbed it, threw it under my head, put the king size new 2.0, pushed it over on top of the other king size 2.0s, a giant stack of huge pillows now, and I laid down on it. And I literally was like, it wasn't like the first time I used it, because that was magical. That was like going from an absolute crap fiber-filled pillow to like an amazing pillow. But going from, again, this is so sad I say this, but I'm trying to be honest as I can be. Going from the 2.0 to the normal classic, I was able to spend more time on my back than normal. It was weird. I had one night's sleep on it really solid, and I was like on my back most of the night, and I was like tripping on how like it felt comfortable. It felt good. It felt right. I was like, this is sort of a trip, right? Like I'd rather spend more of the time at night when I sleeping rather than trying to figure out whether my pillow's working. So we'll work on that too. So I'm definitely buying 2 of them for my new king size. I've never actually had the king size. Hopefully they're just as good. But all said, I love this pillow. I love it a lot. They're only $14.88 right now. So I'm going to get 2 of those. I'm going to get some I think some beach towels. I think I need some. And I'm probably going to get my girlfriend another set of slippers because she destroys them and Christmas time's coming. But I kind of bought a trip for us. So that is her Christmas present. But she's going to get some slippers probably too. All said, I'm going to buy some stuff from mypillow.com/OTF. They've got some great deals. Flannel sheets and everything under the sun. It's wintertime, folks. It's the best time for flannel sheets. And they're really good. Super deep pockets, whole 9 yards. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. and hopefully stay on your back if that's what you're into. Lab-grown human brains could help cure the world's top killer diseases. They're figuring out how to grow these in the International Space Station. Brains. What I don't know, this is like really woo, so apologize in advance, but there's possibility that we're doing some pretty crazy stuff in space, I've heard, and there might even be more than one space station also that I've heard, well, not counting China and whatnot, but there's likely a chance that there's clones and stuff maybe being made. Like it's interesting, just an interesting thought. Because you got a whole lot of different things that happen when you got a zero gravity thing. So whatever the case is, I find it strange that they're able to grow. It must be brain cells. I don't know if it shapes as a brain because it probably wouldn't shape that way, but they might be able to use these brain cells, like they say, with Alzheimer's patients and whatnot. Many people think that a lot of the Alzheimer's stuff happens because cholesterol. We have a lot of anti-cholesterol medications, and we tell everyone you shouldn't eat cholesterol, but actually cholesterol is what is used in the memory process. So many are wondering, and hopefully this is something that RFK Jr. is able to help get to the bottom of, but many are wondering that if it's possible that the cholesterol removing drugs, as well as just not eating cholesterol or enough cholesterol, can actually affect that. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But, you know, they want to grow brain cells in space instead. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I guess. I don't know. U.S. declares opposition leader who lives in Spain as Venezuela's president-elect. So Anthony Blinken said this, that Edmundo Gonzalez, he won the Venezuelan presidential election several months ago. It's unclear if Washington's position will make a difference, but obviously that's not mattering to the current president. Drawing a blank on his name. Where the hell's your name, dude? Not Gonzalez. There. Good God. I was like, where the hell is that? Man, I literally spent way too long trying to find that. I edited it, obviously. But Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Fuck. That was painful. That hurt. That hurt bad. I don't even care anymore about the story. Venezuelan security forces have surrounded the Argentine embassy. Apparently, the opposition leaders are hiding out there. So, Argentina, this is where Milei is at. He's playing a part in this, I guess. This is going to be very interesting how this plays out. Because this is technically Argentine soil. So these dudes are outside of it, but if they actually go inside of it, then they're declaring war against Argentina, which would be super bad. So armed and hooded members of the Venezuelan security forces have surrounded Argentina's embassy in Caracas. They've cut off their phone. They've cut off power. Anyway, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens there as well. Deep State is fighting and fighting hard. Let's see if we got more signatures. Hopefully this is, oh my God. Just in one day, it's gone way up. It's awesome. The post I saw had 200 and some odd thousand, and it was like a big deal. But this is for UK. So petitions, UK government and parliament. So call a general election. I would like there to be another general election. I believe the current Labour government have gone back on the promises they laid out that led up to the last election. So Parliament will consider this for debate. Parliament considers all petitions that get more than 100,000 signatures. Government will respond if all petitions that get more than 100 or 10,000 signatures. We've got 1.5 million so far. Not 100,000, and the number's just going up. So any of you Brits out there, it's petition.parliament.uk/petitions/700-143. I don't know if it matters, or if you can find this, just going to the petition sections. You probably know your government better than I do, but petition.parliament.uk. If you're an American, don't try to sign this, please. Don't do anything stupid like that. Don't interfere with other people's elections and whatnot. That's not helpful at all. That's illegal, probably, too. So please don't do that if you're an American. But yeah, if you're a Brit, get out there and do it. I mean, if you're Australian, maybe you can. I don't know, because you're already a criminal. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Sorry, that was a dig. I was just joking. Trying to be funny, but that probably wasn't. Probably pissed off a couple people. A recent Israeli airstrike in Syria killed a senior Hezbollah commander who helped plan one of the boldest and most sophisticated attacks against American troops during the Iraq War. So, major guy, but he was still working for Hezbollah. So, again, that was probably where he cut his teeth, or where he became a great general, and then maybe contracted out with Hezbollah after the war ended, or after Iraq was, kind of destroyed, basically. Whatever the case was, highest bidder, it works. He was killed. So, again, the sophisticated network of terrorism is being destroyed. Almost every leader Israel has destroyed. Or we did. I mean, they've gotten to take a lot of them lately. Russia is going to continue testing and start mass producing its new Oreshnik missile. This is that hypersonic missile with multiple MIRVs. So this is these are nuclear capable and extraordinarily, well, impossible to stop right now. Right now. This is kind of a cool little thing of it taking off, though. Check this out.
For the first time, Vladimir Putin firing an intermediate-range missile capable of carrying nuclear weapons into Ukraine. Authorities say it did not have them, but it was destructive. And what the U.S. is now saying about this tonight. Ian Panel from inside Ukraine again tonight.
Tonight, in a defiant warning to the world, Russia carrying out an unprecedented attack with an intermediate-range ballistic missile fired against Ukraine. Those ominous streaks of light falling from the night sky over the eastern city of Dnipro, targeting a military-industrial complex. A U.S. official confirming that new missile containing multiple warheads capable of striking several targets at the same time.
This was a new type of lethal capability that was employed on the battlefield.
But Vladimir Putin tonight saying the attack was a response to strikes by Ukraine using American and British long-range missiles against Russia, the latest attack wounding a senior North Korean general. The US says it was alerted by Russia shortly before today's launch. Military analysts telling ABC News each one of those streaks of light could have been something even far more dangerous.
Putin wanted the world to see these incoming flashes of light, these individual warheads that could have been armed with nuclear weapons. Clearly, this is a nuclear threat to the U.S. and its European allies.
Tonight, President Zelensky saying the world must now respond.
David, after a week of escalation, Putin now also appearing to directly threaten the US, saying Russia could attack any country, allowing Ukraine to use their missiles to strike Russia. David?
Ian Panel in key for us. Ian, thank you.
And this is why we can't have Biden in charge, because he's made, I mean, just
So
on the way out the door.
Trump will inherit the escalating wars in Ukraine.
Shut the frick up. Just in case you do decide to talk again. Alarming satellite image, at least they're saying. It shows China's $9 billion secret warship doing military tests. It's not secret. We've been talking about this thing for a while, but it is the CNS Liaoning. I don't know how to properly say that. It's the nation's first operational aircraft carrier. I believe this is the third one they've got. They bought the first two, or they manufactured a Russian design, and then this is their first own design. Whatever the case is, this is kind of a new big deal. Extraordinarily expensive. They still can't catapult launch and stuff like that. In fact, most of the carriers they have, hardly any pilots are actually trained on them to land on them, because they just don't spend enough time doing it. So anyway, they've got this new giant carrier that is doing some sea tests right now. I don't know, freaking people out. I don't think it should as much. Just like with us, carriers are, well, one, they're just sitting ducks for the most part. That's why you've got a whole crap ton of stuff that goes around with them. Tries to keep them safe, including submarines and everything else. So there's quite an onslaught of stuff that has to follow these around. And again, they're barely even trained on landing on them right now. Let's see if that gets better in time. But yeah, this is out doing sea trials, apparently. All right, a couple more stories here. Oh, yeah, 2 people passed away. It's really sad. Marilyn Rothschild, she is a member of the Rothschild banking family, has officially passed away. That's interesting. And then this one's sad. This one bummed me out. This one bummed me out a little bit. I don't know if you guys know. Back in 2 and 2, Chuck Woolery, legendary game show host, dead at 83. That's sad. Back in 2 and 2, Chuck Woolery, good guy. He was initially Wheel of Fortune, right? Before Pat Sajak? And then he went into the dating game, which was rad. I love that show. That was freaking cool as hell. Anyway, a lot of sad stuff. People made it so close to the end, but not all the way. Maybe he wanted to see who won the election. Who knows? We got a lot going on, folks. Stay strong. Keep pushing forward. I'll keep doing my best to try to bring as much, hopefully, relevant information to the stage, and then we'll continue working through this. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.